Hi everybody, this is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom. We are right now in the third hour in my kitchen. I have here a couple of friends, Mike and Michael. Who is Mike and who is Michael?
I'll be Mike.
Mike, and
I'm
you're Michael.
I'm Michael.
Perfect. And today, in this hour of the show, the goal is to share some love. Okay, we'll be talking about New World Order, freedom, rights, very obsessive and very sometimes frustrating and depressing topics. And right now, instead, we try to have a little fun. The idea is very simple. We need to eat. We need to enjoy food. And the goal would be to have good food, keep us healthy, and also keep us happy. So, normally we will talk about survival food. For example, we're going to talk in the next few weeks different type of special survival, long storage food that I think has a good quality, no chemicals, and also good price. But let's start from something very basic, okay? Sometimes you're hungry, you don't have much time, and you would like to have something a little bit delicious, but also not expensive, and more important, it doesn't take much effort. You know, I'm from Italy, and I'm kind of a spaghetti man. So today we do one of the most simple, basic Italian spaghetti recipe, called spaghetti aglio, olio, e peperoncino. Translated means spaghetti,
Right.
aglio is garlic, oil, and peperoncino is red hot chili. It's a typical recipe from Rome, okay? And the ingredients pretty much says it all. It's very basic. And all we need is, when we work right now with 1 pound of spaghetti.
Is that whole wheat spaghetti? Or
This one I have all wheat. You can get, normally I get regular wheat spaghetti.
yeah.
Right now I have this one. No problem. Honestly, the regular white, it tastes more classic. It's a little more, we will maybe change. But the point, you need 1 pound of good spaghetti. All I say, try to look around now that most of the wheat and grains in the US, they're GMO. So the idea is to get at least something that is not GMO.
Well, they don't have to label it non-GMO here, do
They don't have to, but when you say organic, these are from Italy, USD organic, they're not
they? The GMO.
not GMO. And a little tip, if you can go to any Trader Joe's in the country, for $1.29, now I think they went up, $1.39 a pound, you got very good quality spaghetti from Italy, no GMO.
They banned it over there, right? Didn't they ban it?
Yes, in Europe now they start to ban most of the countries. So 1 pound of spaghetti, that's the first ingredient. Then you need at least, let's say, 1 head of garlic, okay? I say 4 or 5 cloves, okay? Very important. This is a very simple recipe. So the ingredients, they are not that many. It's not like French cuisine that you're going to have so many different flavors. But if the ingredients, they are not good quality, the food is going to be terrible. Because the ingredients, they make the difference. So I suggest you, first of all, whenever you buy garlic, be sure it's not from China, because now you have to look at that too, unfortunately. Try to get also as local as possible, because this garlic is going to be almost raw, okay? So if it's from some country that you don't know what type of water they give, like, sewer water, you may get sick. Right. So I grow my own garlic. And next time we will do a little bit of very special, not even explanation. It's so easy to plant your own garlic, okay? So grow your garlic if you can, otherwise buy good garlic, okay? So 1 pound of spaghetti, 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, oil extra virgin of olive, or olive, what do you say? Extra virgin olive oil.
Olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil.
Right.
You can find everywhere. Just be sure it's really extra virgin olive oil. Try to avoid the plastic bottles if you can. Stick with the glass. Believe it or not, the
Plastic
flavor
will leach
changes.
off, yeah.
Yes, leaches and the flavor also. I suggest you always, I'm not being endorsing it, but the best prices on this one you can find it at Trader Joe's.
It's too bad we need to have one.
We
of
need
those.
one here in Maui County, maybe one day. So at that point we're talking about, let's start to do this. You get, first of all, the garlic. I put you in control, Mike, here. Peel the garlic, 4 or 5 cloves, okay? I give you the stand here. And if you need a little knife, here we go. We gotta clean all the different skin. We need the garlic. Then we need Then we're going to start to work on the water. You need a big pot with enough water to boil your pasta. Believe it or not, this water must be good too. If you get water from a city that there is a lot of chlorination or let's say, chemicals. Believe it or not, in the pasta you may not taste it immediately, but if you got a little bit of sensitivity, it makes the difference.
Yeah,
So
it does.
water, try to get water that is pure, okay? And normally I use my well water purified. So you start to boil the water right now here, very simple. Then you get your oil, as I said, just for basic, normally I don't really count, but just to give you some input, you get about a nice big frying pan, a pan that normally you put enough to, big enough to put 1 pound of spaghetti, okay, so don't get a small pan. So you get at least, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 big tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, okay? And you put it on very low, okay? You don't want this to fry, you want just to start to warm it up. Meanwhile, we have the 4 or 5 garlic cloves, cloves of garlic, okay, getting coming. And the last element was the peperoncino, red hot chili. Try to get fresh things if you can. And normally I grow also my own little chili. You don't need to even have a greenhouse. You can grow this in your apartment if you have to, just a little vase. And they are very, very important. And of course, every chili has a different intensity of flavor. So you can also use, for example, habaneros if you want, but much more aggressive. So you gotta really dose it. This is a kind of a pretty strong red hot chili, but it's not as strong as habanero. So you get, in this case, for 5 of, let's say 4 or 5 tablespoons of olive oil, at least, let's say a sprinkle of chili, okay? At your own taste. The idea of this pasta is supposed to be spicy, but how much spicy, it's up to your personal taste, okay? So, I have now on the pan here, the oil that is warming up. I have the chili that I want to be sure it does not burn, okay? I don't want burning the chili. And meanwhile, we are preparing the garlic.
You cut it up really fine.
Just at least in 3 or 4
Rough chop.
pieces. Like a kind of raw, you don't need to get into as many small pieces, but the idea that you cut them so the flavor is going to start to be available. So meanwhile this is warming up, we have the pasta, the water for the pasta is boiling. Now, little bit of basic, how to boil the pasta. If you don't boil the pasta the right way, if you don't cook it the right way, the pasta is going to be pretty much a disaster, okay? So, first of all, you don't put the pasta into the water until the water is completely boiling, okay? At that point, when the water starts to boil, we will add some salt, okay? And how much salt is also there, very personal. I will almost say put it less because you can add it after, okay? Right. And at that point, you're going to throw the pasta into the water. Now, every type of package and brand has some sort of suggested minutes. That's okay to have a basic idea, but the real way, or at least the most important way, taste it. Simple as that.
That's right.
And go with your own taste. So let's put a pause right now, and we'll come back, and we will go back when we put the pasta on. Okay? Okay, we are back here in the kitchen. You're listening to Love, Guns and Freedom with Mike and Michael and Luca. And today we are cooking this very simple but delicious, and I say almost survival recipe, because it's not just survival in the middle of the jungle. Sometimes you come back home, you're tired, you're sick, you want to just sit down and crash, you don't have much time to cook. But you want a good meal, simple meal, healthy meal. So we're doing spaghetti aglio e olio and peperoncino. As you can hear from the sound, we have here, right now, in a big pot boiling water, and we have water ready to pretty much hug the pasta, because we have right now here on my hand 1 pound of organic spaghetti, okay? Normally they suggest 1 pound in this country serve 6, 7 people, whatever they say. They're insane. Normally I eat it by myself. But we have 3 people, we're gonna make it today, okay? We're gonna share it. At the same time the water is boiling, we have here on a beautiful cast iron pan 4 or 5, like we said, about 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, with about 3 or 4 little cloves, garlic cloves, and a little bit of red hot chili at your own taste, okay? And right now the pan, it's warm. It's not frying. It's just pretty much melting the flavor together and blending the flavor together, the garlic, the chili, and the oil, okay?
You got it on like low or medium?
Very low, very low, very low. Because I normally keep this warm waiting for the pasta, okay? Simple as that. You don't want to have anything burning, okay? For example, I just like to have a little bit of almost golden on the garlic, but no more than that. Now, how to cook the pasta. We were talking before. It's very simple, but can be also a disaster. If you cook the pasta wrong, I refuse to eat it. I'm sorry. I'm getting really... I draw the line.
Same here.
Okay, so now the water is boiling, okay? You can see it, I mean, you can hear it. We are on the radio after all. I use important element. We're talking about salt, okay? Believe it or not, everything is very important. Few ingredients, but they're important. I always use only sea salt, okay? It tastes different, believe it or not. And yeah, you can use regular salt, but start to put the real ingredients. They're healthier for you and they taste better. I put a little bit of salt, not too much. It's going to be your personal taste. And at that point, I will drop my spaghetti, okay? It's very simple. You want to be sure the spaghetti, they don't clump together. And more important, they spread around, okay? Because they need to cook evenly all at the same time.
You time it, or
No.
you know how when it's
You
ready?
just see.
Check it.
You check it. As I said, to keep it simple, every brand of pasta have some sort of time, suggest time, okay?
Right.
It's all going to be different.
Yeah, and that's fine, because also every pasta is a different type of thickness. If you're cooking spaghetti, it's different from fettuccine, it's different from, for example, the type of long pasta or short pasta.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you get that information as a basic general information, and then you want to verify. Now, for sure, this spaghetti, I would say at least, let them sit for at least 5-6 minutes, okay? But then you can start to see, one by one, just get one, and you taste it. Now, remember, you're not going to, even when you turn the water off, they keep still
So
cooking.
Keep cooking, yeah.
Okay, so you gotta calculate. This is kind of a little bit of an art. It's not a science. Only a little bit of experience. The first time, sometimes you don't get it right. Even when you do it right, sometimes if you're in a rush, you're gonna miss it. So it's the fun part how to cook pasta, because you can do any type of recipe. If you don't cook the pasta in the right way, it's gonna be all a disaster. So the idea is to keep it al dente, as you already know. That is hard, but not too hard.
Right.
Okay. So meanwhile, I will stop the garlic and the oil in my little sauce, a very simple sauce. It's pretty much off, okay? Is the type of effect I want it. I really feel, and I can see that the flavors of the garlic and the chili and the oil are blended together. That's pretty much all the idea. And as I said, this is a survival recipe, because the original recipe was from pretty much during the late 1800s in Rome. People, they were poor, they were broke, and they didn't have much of ingredients. So a little bit of garlic, a little bit of chili, a little bit of pasta.
Right. Well, the cost of this is pretty much
Nothing. I mean, think about it. We have 1 pound of pasta,
Probably.
$1.36, the best quality I can get you, okay? Organic. Garlic, I grow my own garlic, otherwise you go buy it. Chili, same story.
Olive oil.
Only what? 5 spoons,
Yeah,
few
right.
cents,
Very
a
cheap.
little water. Now,
$3.
yeah, the final ingredient is the pecorino cheese and the parsley, okay? I would never put vegetables, let's say herbs, no vegetable, herbs at the end, at the beginning, because they're going to cook and they're going to burn.
Yeah.
I put them at the end. So what we need now, I'm going to gather now a little bit of parsley. As I said, if you can grow your own, it's very nice, because it's going to be fresh and clean and organic. And then, of course, we need some cheese. We live in the US, we can have access to almost every cheese. Sometimes, though, if you live in minor part of smaller towns or whatever, I would say the idea is, the original recipe says you need to have pecorino cheese. Pecorino is from the sheep, the animal sheep, okay? Not from cows. Cows is parmesan.
Yeah.
If you can stick with pecorino, I think you can find it. If you don't have pecorino, any type of strong cheese, okay? And of course, we're talking about some sort of a variation that is not.
Asiago.
Yeah,
probably works,
something that
I
would be even stronger than Asiago. Would be almond, because pecorino is a kind of a strong flavor, okay? Parmesan is more milder, okay? The real pecorino is strong, you can taste it. So almost a sharp shepherd cheese, very sharp,
Right.
that would do it, okay? But I think you can shop around if you can find pecorino. Now what we're going to do, before we take a break, I'm going to put Mike in charge of grating some pecorino. Okay, Mike? Okay. How much pecorino cheese? Even here, I would say it's always something subjective, okay? It depends how much really you want to eat, the flavor you want to calculate. But the basic average type of recipe for 1 pound of pasta would be, let's say, no more than 1 cup of pecorino cheese. That would be plenty to spread it around and to have a good balance. Okay, because also you want to have a balance. You don't want to have cheese and pasta.
So you're going to fold the cheese in at the end, right?
Yes, now we will go there. So a little bit now we're doing this sort of a grading job. And meanwhile, I'm going to get the parsley straight from my yard, okay, from my backyard. Okay, now I am here in my garden, or part of my garden, and we are getting some fresh parsley. It's so simple, so easy, and so really,
Smells really nice.
look, nice and fresh, organic, and you know exactly what you eat. And remember, the problem with these herbs that you normally you buy at the grocery shop or the produce shop, first of all, they rip you off with money, okay? It's really expensive. And more important, your health, because you're going to get things that are going to be old, at least a couple of weeks or a week. This is the vitamins and all the ingredients, all the nutrients, they are there because they are right now straight from the tree or from the fruit. So if they stay 1 week in the fridge, it loses all. But more important also, my hands are clean. I washed them before, and I know they are my hands. Most of these herbs, you're going to eat them raw. You really know who was the person before you that was touching them. You think did he wear gloves, or you think their hands were washed. I don't know.
Not very likely.
Not very
sometimes.
often. So that's why people get sick. So I think it's really a fun hobby to grow your own herbs. Okay? Okay, Michael, how much pecorino cheese did you do?
I've got a cup, maybe a little bit over.
Perfect. Looks great. Now we got pecorino waiting. We got the oil, the garlic, and the chili in the pan. They're warm. No more cooking, just warm. I got the parsley washed and cut there. Honestly, I don't even cut it, just there. Now, the magic moment. Try to figure it out if this pasta is cooked enough. And the salt level. In my opinion, 30 more seconds is plenty. Salt-wise, as I said, you taste it. Start with little. Depends on your health condition, depends also your personal taste. Some people don't like even salt at all. I like salt, okay? But just in the right way. So,
Have you ever had a Himalayan salt?
yes, this is the Himalayan salt.
Some chefs like to gauge the saltiness of water by comparing it to salt water in the ocean.
Yes, there is also a fact that the fact is also every water is different,
Right.
and also to tell how much water you're using. I'm using now pretty consistent water. So I said instead of just say find a mathematical formula would be almost crazy. Keep it simple. Taste it.
Right.
Once you put the pasta in, you start to taste it. You can add it. So I say at this point the pasta is cooked in my opinion because it's going to continue cooking there for a few more seconds.
Right.
So right now,
Drain it, right?
yes, I'm going to drain it. Here we go. But it's very important, at least for this recipe, we must leave a little bit of water at the end in the pot. So I don't want to throw all the water away.
There's flavor in that water.
The water is flavoring, and also it's very important because we are not using any creams or any type of any things that would keep all this together.
Right. It's for the sauce.
It's going to be pretty much just the cheese and to create some sort of a natural cream without using creams.
So you left a little bit of the
Little
water.
bit of water, okay? Now, I pour all the pasta inside where the garlic and the chili was waiting in the pan. I keep on low the same fire that I was using to cook the water. Now I can start to pretty much continue for next 60 seconds or less. It's more than cooking, it's like blending the flavors, okay? Simple as that.
Like
You want
tossing a salad.
Exactly. Now, at this point, you be sure that you have all the garlic and the oil spread around evenly with the pasta. Now, you get the pecorino cheese that you have there, and you can start to, without, you don't want to create like a blob. Yeah, just sprinkle it around and move it around, okay? And you will see the pecorino cheese is going to start to melt. Now, meanwhile, Mike, we have parsley that I use mostly also for decoration if you want, but it is also part of the flavor. I'm not really crazy about eating parsley much, but I like it with this type of pasta, a little bit of flavor. So now,
The cheese is pretty coarse.
it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, of course you can
It's
do
all
it.
gonna melt.
You know, you can have different way to grade it. This is just a big course, but it doesn't really matter here.
No, I'm sure it's good. It's just,
Yeah.
It was a different
Yeah,
taste
normally
than
you have
cheddar
the
cheese.
little grater is smaller. Honestly, I like a little rough like that.
Yeah.
Now you see it's becoming like almost a melt. Now I turn completely the fire off. Okay. The last things I want to add to this one,
The parsley.
little bit of parsley, but before even we go there, black pepper. Okay. Little bit of black pepper,
Freshly ground.
freshly ground if it's possible.
See, if you notice, you have one color base too. Also, the green from the parsley gives it a nice color contrast.
Exactly. There we go. Okay, Mike and Michael, we almost finished our spaghetti aglio olio and peperoncino. What was your impression, Mike?
Well, I think it was really good. The cheese, I've never had this cheese before.
Really?
And it was
Pecorino
really
cheese?
good flavor.
Strong, good.
Yeah, and the chili peppers. I've never put chili peppers in pasta before. That gave it a good flavor, and it was cooked perfectly. It was really. You can buy this probably in. You probably have to pay like $12 or $15 for this dinner at the
Yeah.
Olive Garden restaurant or something.
And I don't even think, honestly, they would do it with the same care and ingredients that
No.
you have here. As I said, all the ingredients, they are very easy to grow or to buy if you got the good ingredients, and cheap. I mean, we had 3 meals, honestly more than 3 because I ate twice, you ate almost twice.
Yeah.
And let's say we could have at least fed 4 people, easy. For what? No more than $3. Think about that. So this was a little bit of love from Love, Guns, and Freedom, and also a little bit of survival skills. You having just a basic ingredient like spaghetti and a few other little basic ingredients we just talked. And the beautiful thing that you don't want to cook or storage food that you don't like. Storage things that you enjoy eating every day. Because that's the good part, you know. You eat spaghetti eventually every day. It's not going to be your main survival food, but it's something you can easily storage and keep for years and have fun. So we have also here a real chef, Mike. What do you think about the pasta?
I loved it. I thought the pasta was cooked al dente perfectly. I like the fresh ingredients. The fresh parsley and the fresh garlic was really nice, and good consistency with the cheese.
the
And
way
really
too easy
simple.
to cook,
Yeah,
simple.
really simple and
And let's not
really
forget
authentic. I thought
the
that was
healthy
nice.
part. The healthy part. There are some very important elements here. You have garlic, especially if it's fresh and organic, one of the most strongest antibiotics in nature. Okay. Then you have red hot chili, very good for circulation. Oil, extra virgin olive oil, good for cholesterol and also for circulation. And then you also have parsley that has a lot of good antioxidants. And of course, pecorino cheese, you have proteins. Carbs, you have all the pasta. And serotonin, that is an element that created by the carbohydrates. And serotonin is an element that hits your brain and keep you somehow sort of in good mood.
Right.
So it's important because if you're in a survival situation and everything, sorry,
You want things to cheer you up.
life is tough, you know.
Right.
You're facing a very gloom life.
Yeah.
You need to have comfort food that is just not good for your belly, it's also good for your brain.
Yeah.
I think a good a good plate of pasta and a dish of eggs. I'm drunk without it. Anyway, a good plate of pasta and a glass of wine is also good for your mood and your spirit.
Right.
So that was it. That was for the love part of Love, Guns, and Freedom. Stay tuned. Don't go away. You will find this recipe on lovegunsfreedom.com. Ciao.